you've been told ever since you're a little girl, suck it up, get on with it. Quite often I get very paranoid that the string of my tampon is hanging out the bottom of my pants. If I haven't.
Good to see you. Thanks so much for talking to us today. So today I want to talk about periods, how they affect your athletic performance, but also just how they affect life. Please tell us, how old were you when you got your period for the first time and where were you?
Yes, so I was 16 and I was at an athletics carnival doing long jump specifically.
I was 13. I was about to go to bed at home.
I was either 12 or 13 and I was on a Christmas holiday down the beach.
I was in a very safe place. I was just at home.
So I think the athletics carnival's the worst option, isn't it?
Stitch up.
Describe your period now.
Obviously on the spectrum of periods, I would consider myself quite lucky.
For me right now, quite good too.
Were they bad in the past?
Yeah, I generally was between a 10 to 20 day bleeder and quite heavy, where you change a tampon or a pad kind of every hour.
Yeah, that's a lot to manage, isn't it? Macy?
Sometimes I can go 3 months without having them, or I can get them every couple of weeks. But at the moment they're pretty good.
With travel and I guess playing elite sport, there's always going to be a bit of regular periods.
Have you ever sprung a leak during a game?
Yeah, and quite often I get very paranoid that the string of my tampon is hanging out the bottom of my pants.
It's not a thing. It's not a thing.
But the amount of times I'm like, I hope I'm not on camera now. I just got to check that no one can see anything.
Like, I'm already really enjoying this conversation because you all are so relaxed talking about it. It's not like, ooh, we can't talk about this. So I thank you for that, first of all. Can you talk about how your period affects your athletic performance? Do you want to start, Kira?
Obviously that first day is the worst. You're moody, you're hungry, and you're just like lethargic. You obviously need to turn up and train and it's just expected of you.
For me, I get like lower back pain, so having to like manage that when you're going out and trying to perform on court as well is quite difficult.
I think for me, my week leading up to when I bleed is the worst for me physically, mentally. I get really fatigued, really drained. I feel like I don't perform as well, don't lift as much weight in the gym, and the motivation and energy levels are really lacking.
When I get my period, I get so nauseous and don't want to eat. And obviously being an athlete, you need to be able to fuel your body.
Now, you study exercise physiology?
Yeah.
So what have you learnt about the link between your athletic performance and your periods?
Yeah, so there's 4 main stages of your cycle, and obviously there's the follicular, the ovulation, luteal, and then your menstruation. How you said you couldn't lift weights as heavy in the last week, it's because you're having huge drops in certain hormones in your body, and having more strength and conditioning coaches in sport that have a greater understanding of that as well can help us as athletes. So I think it's very important.
So is it all right, Taylor, if we talk about your endo?
Yeah.
Tell me how that affected you just on a day-to-day basis.
I think the biggest thing I struggled with for a long time was not knowing what was happening to me and when. Why do I feel like this? Why am I not sleeping? Why am I so fatigued? Why am I so different to everyone else? When I was growing up, it wasn't spoken about. I love my mum and probably now realise she probably has endo or something along those lines, but being older, she was like, I managed it, you'll be fine, put another tampon in. That was the norm. We're all just putting up with it and you move on.
This idea of women putting up with pain, is that something that has come into your athletic careers?
Growing up, you probably just get told, suck it up, just get on with it sort of thing.
Oh, just take some pain relief or you'll be right. And I think it's important to know not everyone's pain is the same. So being told you'll be right sometimes isn't the answer that you need.
What strategies have you employed to navigate the effects of your period?
You kind of go into management mode like straight away. Okay, I've got gym, then court. I can last until gym starts. I've got to go to the toilet before the gym. Men would have no idea what we're on about, but it's like bang, bang, bang. A timetable. You make a mini timetable in your head. And
I think it's a female thing, but it's also a netballer and an athlete thing. You want to be overly prepared.
Okay, as a role model, what's your message for girls who are watching?
You're definitely not alone, and any age that you get your period is normal to you, and no one should ever tell you that your experience is not normal because everyone's experience is so different.
I think tracking your period is a really good start to kind of understand your body. It's going through a lot of changes, very normal changes. So I think tracking it really puts you a step forward into taking control.
take ownership of your cycle, be willing to go out and see the research and find the stages of your cycle. And
If you're not sure, speak to your best friends, the people around you, your mum, go to the doctor, ask the people that are in your life. If I had have had more education, I can pretty confidently say I would have had a diagnosis sooner.
Thank you so much for sharing. It has been so insightful and I've really, really loved this conversation and I hope everybody else has too.